Hey there, welcome back. In the last video, we discussed the value of feedback surveys and how to create effective survey questions. Then, you had the chance to write some questions for one of Sauce and Spoon's user feedback surveys. Since the last video, the Sauce and Spoon surveys have been administered and the data has been collected. This data is the result of your evaluation, so now it's time to analyze the data and report your findings on how well the project is measuring up to its quality standards. In this video, we'll cover tips and best practices for determining your audience, choosing the style of your evaluation report, and delivering an effective presentation. We'll also discuss how to distinguish between reviewing data and presenting an evaluation. Then, in the next activity, you'll apply what you've learned to analyze survey data and create presentation slides for an upcoming stakeholder meeting. You'll be able to add these slides to your project management portfolio to demonstrate your ability to synthesize and summarize data into recommendations for a particular audience. There are different ways to present an evaluation, and you'll need to decide which style is best for your project and audience. Start out by considering your audience. Think about what's most meaningful to them, as well as how much time they have. If your audience is a mix of roles or groups, like team members, managers, stakeholders, and executives, consider the best way to share information with each group. In some cases, you'll need to present the same data in different ways. Different audiences have different reasons for wanting information. Your team, for example, could benefit from a detailed report so they can address aspects of the project they're responsible for. However, groups like senior stakeholders and executives typically do not need, want, or have the time for a detailed analysis. They would rather have a summary of the most important information and the impact it has on their investment in the project. After you've considered your audience, you should create a detailed evaluation report that addresses your evaluation questions. You can then take the detailed report and summarize the information into the most appropriate format for a given audience. In addition to a full report, two common reporting styles include a summary sheet and a slide-based presentation. A summary sheet is a 1 or 2 page write-up with just the most relevant information. Think of it as a flyer or snapshot of your findings. And a slide-based presentation uses digital slides to visually present information. Presenting evaluation findings should not just be a raw data report. Your presentation needs to reflect what the data means and explain how it informs a response to the evaluation questions. In order to do this, you need to filter and analyze the data. This is probably the most important part, because this is where you make sense of the data for yourself. By filtering and analyzing, you become familiar with the results, the respondents, and what those results mean in regards to project quality. Here's the difference between reporting data and presenting evaluation findings. Let's say the survey data reveals that 36% of respondents reported a negative dining experience with the tablets. But what does that data mean? It could mean several things. It could mean that the tablets weren't installed correctly, resulting in performance glitches. It could mean the tablets are poor quality, so even if they were installed correctly, the tablets just didn't function very well. It could mean the staff wasn't trained well enough, resulting in delayed or incorrect orders. Or it could mean that respondents simply didn't like using the tablets and prefer a standard dining experience. You see, data alone isn't enough. You need to conduct additional analysis that explains the data. Your job is to figure out what the data means and explain how the data answers your evaluation questions. When you can explain what the data means in your own words, you'll have the basis for your presentation. A good way to start analyzing data to present is to look for trends, patterns, and anomalies. Another tip is to share this process with some of your team members. Taking turns sharing what you think the data means allows you to check your understanding and uncover additional information through your varied perspectives. After you've analyzed your data and know how you'd like to present it, shape the story of your findings by tying it all together into one cohesive narrative. Take some time to think about what you're hoping to achieve, the points you want to make, and the questions and concerns you want to answer. A great way to present an evaluation is through a story. Storytelling is the process of turning facts into narrative to communicate something to your audience. This is essentially what you do when you present your evaluation findings. You tell the story of your data. We provide some great tips and more details of the storytelling process in those earlier courses, so check them out if you need more help. For the tablet project, the point of the presentation is to demonstrate to stakeholders whether or not the project is successfully meeting quality standards. So you might start by reminding them of the overall goal and purpose of the project. From there, identify the milestone that's being evaluated and how it's expected to meet the project goals. Explain what the data revealed, but don't cover every single data point or survey question. Again, you're telling a story about the data, not presenting the raw data itself. Identify any major issues the data revealed and summarize the rest. If the data reveals that things are going well, pick a few highlights and move on. If there are some major failings, suggest possible solutions or craft specific questions you need answers to. Let's review. There are different ways to present an evaluation. You need to decide which style is best for your audience. To do this, consider what's most meaningful to them and how much time they have. In some cases, you'll need to present the same data in different ways. Common reporting styles, in addition to a full detailed report, are a summary sheet and a slide-based presentation. An evaluation is not simply a raw data report. It needs to reflect what the data means and explain how it informs a response to the evaluation questions. In order to do this, you'll need to filter and analyze the data. A great way to present an evaluation is through a story. Storytelling is the process of turning facts into narrative to communicate something to your audience. In the next activity, you'll review data results from the Sauce and Spoon feedback surveys and craft presentation slides that tell the story of your evaluation. Then you'll wrap up the section with a retrospective. See you soon.